Hey everyone, it's Kijani with a crafting and gathering guide for Final Fantasy XIV. In this video, I will go over the new expert recipes used to craft the Water Otter Fountain, as well as gathering prime and sublime collectibles. Just a heads up that these expert recipes to craft the Water Otter Fountain are quite difficult with the gear currently available. With this set of expert recipes, it's honestly going to be 60% lucky RNG and 40% skill. Even if you don't care about the fountain itself, you can still make quite a lot of gil by selling the components and the materials that you receive from prime and sublime collectibles. Let's continue by discussing how to get the Glioaether crafting materials that are used in the expert recipes to craft the components for the Water Otter Fountain. Using Aetherial reduction on prime and sublime collectibles is how you will receive the Ignis Glioaether or the Virtuous Glioaether. Prime and sublime collectibles are gathered from nodes that are on timers, so it's best to use a site like Garland Tools to determine the locations and the times that they will be available. Let's take a look at the rotation that you'll use when you're gathering prime and sublime collectibles. Alright, let's start gathering, and keep in mind you do need 3700 perception just to be able to gather a prime collectible. With every prime collectible, you have to get it to max collectability in order to have a chance at gathering a sublime collectible. The simple rotation is scrutiny and then a brazen action, followed by another scrutiny and another brazen action. If you are short on collectability like I am, you can use a meticulous action to fill the gap and hope it also conserves integrity. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for me. After you reach max collectability, the percentage chance of gathering a sublime collectible is in the top left corner of the gathering hub. Use your job actions to increase your attempts, then you just start collecting and hope you get a sublime collectible, like I did right there. Let's go. So you continue to collect, and you'll hear a different sound when you get a sublime collectible, and you'll hear the regular sound when you gather a prime, and there you go, another sublime collectible. In this example, I use Collector's Focus, but that job action is completely optional. When you use Aetherial reduction on a sublime collectible, you are guaranteed to receive a Glioaether. What about prime collectibles? What are the drop rates like for those? Well, as you can see, I have a lot of them to use Aetherial reduction on, so let's fast forward to see how many Glioaether that I will end up getting. Well, after reducing 74 prime collectibles at max collectability, I got 0 bleeping Glioaether. I either have the world's worst RNG or the drop rates of Glioaether from prime collectibles are really low. Please let me know in the comments below if my results are just an outlier or if it really be like that with prime collectibles. Let's go over how to catch a Mayashell. Using Aetherial reduction on a Mayashell is how you will get a Aqueous Glioaether. The Mayashell is located in the Font of Maya fishing node in Thavnir. The Mayashell can be caught by mooching a handy Hamsa. The handy Hamsa is a light tug with a cast time ranging from 6 seconds to 24. Your bait of choice will be a Mayfly, which can be purchased with purple scripts or from the market board. It is strongly recommended that you use Patience too. It's going to give you the best opportunity of getting a free mooch after you catch a handy Hamsa. The Mayashell is a medium tug with a cast time of 3 to 11 seconds. You need to turn on your collector's glove before catching one, so that way you catch the Mayashell as a collectible. Be sure to check sites like Teamcraft or Carbuncle Plushie to know when it is available to be caught. Now that we have our materials, let's get to the fun part, crafting expert recipes for the Water Otter components. Fortunately, you just need 2 of each component to turn in to receive your fountain. If this is your first time doing expert recipes, there isn't a static rotation. You really just have to go with the flow, look for opportunities based on conditions that you get, and have the mindset that sometimes the craft will fail simply due to receiving bad RNG. That's just the utter chaos of expert recipes. Everything that you'll need to craft these expert recipes is currently listed on the screen. Crafters' delineations are a must-have. They give you the option to use the specialist job actions Careful Observation and Heart and Soul. The job action Careful Observation essentially lets you fish for conditions each time you use it. Upon each use, the current condition will change to something else. Hopefully it changes to the condition that you were looking for, because you can only use careful observation 3 times per craft. Heart and Soul allows the execution of precise touch, intensive synthesis, or tricks of the trade outside of a good condition. I often use Heart and Soul for tricks of the trade because you can never have enough CP. However, depending on where you are in your craft, you can also use it in another way. In your progress phase, if you have muscle memory and veneration up, you can use Heart and Soul, then intensive synthesis for that initial job action to push progress. This is just one alternative to rapid synthesis and pray. I strongly recommend that you equip Soul of the Crafter to the 3 respective jobs that you will use to craft these expert recipes. Soul of the Crafters will give you an overall boost to your stats. When we look at the recipes for the components for the Water Otter Fountain, they are divided amongst each respective disciple of hand. Just pick one job from the respective grouping to give a Soul of the Crafter to. Let's go over the conditions and my recommended actions to use when a condition is present. With a good condition, increases to quality are 1.5 times higher than normal. Whenever you get one, use it as an opportunity to push quality, gain CP, or to push progress. You really have to look at where you are in the craft and determine which job action is best. A centered condition increases action success by 25%. In your quality phase, you will use Hasty Touch, or if you have CP to spare, you also have the option to use Focus Touch. A sturdy condition reduces durability loss by 50%. It gives you the option to use job actions that cost a lot of durability, like groundwork or preparatory touch. Even if you don't plan to use those job actions, a reduction in durability loss is really helpful. The malleable condition increases progress by 1.5 times higher than normal. When malleable is present, we have to rely on our good friend rapid synthesis and hope that it is successful. This is especially true if you have both veneration and muscle memory active. If they are, a successful rapid synthesis will push progress to at least 70% of the way to completion. When the primed condition is active, your next buff is going to be granted 2 additional steps. Ideally, you want to get a primed condition whenever you need to use any of the actions listed on the screen. In this section, I wanted to highlight some job actions and other things for you to consider while crafting these expert recipes. Starting with your quality finisher. Your quality finisher is a combination of using innovation and great strides to buff Birgot's Blessing. With this in mind, it's important to save 74 CP for the finisher. It's also important to know the value of the quality finisher. With this knowledge, you'll know the minimum quality that you'll need to achieve before using the finisher. Trained Finesse is a crafting job action that increases quality without decreasing durability. However, it's only available after you reach 10 stacks of Inner Quiet. If you can get 10 stacks of Inner Quiet early in your craft, along with a good amount of CP, then by all means spam the heck out of Trained Finesse. However, don't forget to save some CP for your quality finisher. Another thing that you should consider is that you have a 1-2-3 combo to increase quality. It involves using Basic Touch, followed by Standard Touch, and then finishing up with Advanced Touch. When used in sequence, this combo reduces the CP cost of each subsequent action to 18. It's something to consider when you want to increase quality while conserving CP. And speaking of conserving CP, we have Hasty Touch. It's something that you should consider using even outside of a centered condition. It does have a 60% success rate outside of centered. However, with expert crafting, you just have to take your chances. So I can't finish the video without showing an example. I'm gonna start the progress phase with a muscle memory and a veneration, and together they will buff the next rapid synthesis. Hopefully after using both job actions, I will get a centered or a malleable condition. Either one is going to be very helpful in me pushing progress. So let's go ahead and use veneration and see what we get. Alright, using veneration, and I got a centered condition. That's going to increase the success rate of rapid synthesis from 50% to 75. Let's go ahead and use rapid synthesis and hope that it's still successful. So I used it and it was successful. Let's go ahead and try another rapid synthesis. And that was unsuccessful. However, I have a malleable condition, and that's going to help push progress if this is successful, which it was, and even better, I have a good condition. As you can see, 3 job actions lit up, and that's going to be tricks of the trade, precise touch, and intensive synthesis. However, since I am in my progress phase, I'm going to use intensive synthesis to push progress, and that should bring me about 1 step away from completing the craft. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm about 1 careful synthesis away from completing the craft. Since I have 10 durability, let's go ahead and transition over to the quality phase. I'm going to use manipulation. Since I have good, I'm going to use tricks of the trade. That's a no-brainer. Master's Mend, and then Waste Not 2. Since I got a primed condition, Waste Not 2 is going to be extended by 2 additional steps. So it went from 8 steps to 10 steps. Now let's use innovation and start pushing quality. So I'm going to start with a basic touch, standard touch, and then advanced touch. Since I have this good here, definitely going to use precise touch. I have another good, definitely going to use precise touch there. And now, since I have 1 step left in innovation, I have 60 durability, manipulation's up, Waste Not 2 is up. Using preparatory touch was the best option there. So I have centered. I'm going to go ahead and use a hasty touch and hope that it is successful, and it was. And now I'm going to go ahead and continue to push quality by using innovation, and then I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3 quality combo of basic touch, standard touch, and then advanced touch, and hopefully get something good in between. I did not, so go ahead and complete that. And now I am at 35 durability. I have a lot of CP. Innovation is still up. I have 10 stacks of Inner Quiet. I'm gonna go ahead and use Trained Finesse. I still have a ways to go to meet the minimum quality requirement, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to push quality by starting with a innovation and then another trained finesse. So go ahead and use innovation here, and then I am going to use trained finesse. Let's see, got malleable, so trained finesse. Then let's see what I have. Another malleable. I still have a decent amount of CP, so I'm gonna go ahead and use another trained finesse. And I got a centered, so I'm going to use a hasty touch, and let's see if it's successful. It was successful, and I got a good condition. Going to use tricks of the trade here to get more CP back, and then I got it primed. Going to use innovation, so I'm going to conserve some CP by using hasty touch, because you know 60% of the time it works every time, except for that one. Fortunately, I got a good condition here, so I'm going to use tricks of the trade, and then I realized that I did not use Heart and Soul yet. So I'm going to use Heart and Soul, and it's going to activate intensive synthesis, precise touch, and tricks of the trade. And with it, I'm going to use tricks of the trade to get back some more CP. With the additional CP and innovation still active, I'm going to use trained finesse, and that's going to take me to a point where I can use my quality finisher, and that should bring me to the minimum quality requirement, or actually I think this is going to take me to maximum, I think, which it did. I got the full maximum quality, and as you can see, the bar turns red once you meet the minimum quality requirement. Now all that's left is to finish the craft, so I'm going to use veneration, which buffs my careful synthesis. I'm going to use careful synthesis, and then I am done. That's all I have for this video. Good luck on your expert recipes, and hopefully you can get a fountain for yourself, or just make tons of gil off of components and Glioaether. I will catch y'all in the next video. Until then, peace.